Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 6. So today we're actually going to be racing a car online today, and we're going to be using this 1990 Nissan Pulsar GTI-R. So yeah, not majorly changed it in terms of visual options or upgrades, but we will go through nonetheless what I have done to the car with the upgrades themselves. So yeah, let's take a look. So in terms of the engine, it now has a race intake. Nothing in terms of the fuel system or the ignition. There's only so much you can do with a B-class car at the end of the day. No cams. Don't think I did the exhaust, no. Has been some time since I upgraded this, but we did upgrade the engine block to a race engine block to put it up to 2.4 litres from the 2 litres that it had originally. And we also did the turbocharger. Oh no, we didn't. I thought I did. I swear I seem to remember doing that. So yeah, literally all we've done is the engine block and the air filter. And yet you can get 275 horsepower from doing that. I don't think we did no, we didn't do the flywheel. But we did do the brakes. Then up to race brakes. The suspension has been lowered as well to sport spring and dampers. And we've got the race front and rear anti-roll bars. We've also, I believe, reduced the weight a bit. Yeah, street weight reduction, which obviously doesn't give it a huge amount of weight off, only 56 pounds, but you know, 56 pounds is still a decent amount of weight to lose. And we've got a sport clutch to help deal with that extra power it's got. And it's got a race transmission as well, which as you can see helps the launch and the acceleration. And we've also given it a race driveline, which again doesn't knock off a massive amount of power. Weight even, but 25.9 pounds, as well as the weight reduction in the handling department, means that yeah, you're dealing with, you know, nearly 80 pounds or thereabouts less. I think I've actually forgotten to give it a race diff, so we'll put that on now. And in terms of the tyres, got street tyre compound, wider tyres fully up front at 245mm and 245mm at the rear as well. And we've also widened the front and the rear track. I find that to really help in terms of the handling department. It helps the car just maintain a good rate of speed through faster corners. And in terms of visuals, yeah, I think we only did this. Don't think we did anything, to be honest. No, side skirts just had weight. And no alternate bonnet. So yeah. Only visual difference would be the wider track at the front and the rear, which is why the wheels are slightly, well, I would say slightly, quite a lot actually, sticking out of the arches of the car itself. But we'll stick that race diff on regardless. So yeah, 275 horsepower in this is pretty potent, and that means that we're getting 0 to 60 in 4.149 seconds, 0 to 110.861 seconds, and go to a top speed of 162 miles an hour. That top speed definitely could be better, but I really rather like the acceleration that it's got going on. So these are the overall stats. So 254 pounds-feet of torque, 2,632 pounds in weight, and those are the stats. So the handling doesn't look particularly great, but you have to bear in mind that this doesn't weigh all that much at the end of the day. Has all-wheel drive and has that wider track up front and rear, while still having the maximum width of tyres for this standard tyre, the street tyres that it's got on it. So yeah, it does actually handle a lot better than you might expect, and couple that with the acceleration, and yeah, this absolutely flies around certain corners. So yeah, but nonetheless, let's get on to our first race online. Right, we're on the highway circuit. This is a lobby that is part way through doing the free races that are part of a lobby or championship, whatever one you call it. So yeah, the highway circuit is about 13 miles long, and yeah, it's quite speed orientated, I believe. So we might well not have the greatest chance here, given we do only top out about 162. But yeah, it's more than just about speed at the end of the day. It's about control and yeah, how you deal with the power and the speed that you've got. So hopefully we can do well here. Now obviously there is the fact that, you know, there are quite a number of people on these games that do like to cheat. I've come across numerous people that try and slash you out of the way of the checkpoint, so you miss it and have to rewind, and you know, ramming into the rear end of you or anything else like that. So yeah, hopefully we don't get any of that today, but I don't even hope at the end of the day. And yeah, this is 13 miles long in terms of being across 3 laps. So yeah, decently lengthy laps, quite frankly. That Chevy Impala looks like we've got about 4 dead bodies in the boot. And I'm pretty sure racing etiquette on this game is barely existent, because some people really do think they are owed the inside line even if you're already on it. So they will try and bash you out of the way and such. So it's got better brakes than the Impala. As you can see, long stretches of this are, you know, speed orientated. Yeah, this is definitely where we're not at our strongest. I was trying to go for the elevated route. I do feel like that is a quicker one than this lower route. I think they've lost their controller or equipment. That Impala just suddenly went into the wall and slowed right now. Top tip: if you are doing online racing, do make sure you have a controller that is either charged up fully or wired. There's nothing more annoying than being on a race and suddenly losing power. And it might seem like common sense, but even I've forgotten at times to check how much battery power I have, and therefore I've lost either vibration in the controller or power entirely. Losing vibration in the controller really does hinder your ability to race, but it also, I feel, massively puts you on edge, because you think, oh well, if the vibration's gone then it can't have much power in general, and yeah, adds a fair bit of tension to any kind of race, I feel, in that regard. Nova's going to have way more in the way of straight line speed than me. Maybe we can keep up through any of the corners. Sort of, vaguely. Having a bit of a fight here. First place is roared off over there in. Yeah, this is far more of a car that's for the tight knit handling circuits and such. far better cars to choose from in this class for this kind of race. But luckily this race has been fairly clean. Nothing egregious in terms of trying to be cheated out of a position. It's a shame that Impala dropped out. We're having a good old tussle with them. Tegra lost out to the Nova and we lost out to both. But it was pretty close there at the end, which is fun, and yeah, it wasn't a million miles off in lap time over the two ahead of us, but obviously the Camry there, whatever they've put in that to get that kind of speed, I don't know. Really must be the kind of car that has more power than anything else, or entirely has been upgraded in terms of power. So yeah, but that's one race where we'll try and get into another few races. Depends on what this lobby's going to turn into, if it's going to stay in B class or not. I'll have to find out. Yep, it is. Right, well, that's fine. We'll stick around then. And yeah, Era cars, yeah, it's 2 circuits and a sprint, so we might well do better here than last time. But I still feel like we had a fairly good race considering we're on a circuit that is, yeah, far more attuned to cars with way more power than us. I imagine 275 horsepower was the least amount of power from any car in that lobby. But we'll be able to put our power to much better use on a circuit that's more corner orientated than anything else. Especially since we've got good performance out of corners with that all-wheel drive system and a decent amount of power while not weighing much at the same time. Yeah, this is one of the 10 cars that I picked in one of my videos that I was talking about 10 cars that I use for online that probably aren't all that good, but I enjoy using them anyway. So yeah, but I feel like using cars that aren't necessarily the most competitive is just enjoyable in its own right, because you're not expecting a win per se, and therefore when you are having a good race and you are battling for a good position, even if it's not necessarily first, it means that, you know, you're not necessarily guaranteed a win, and therefore just makes racing more enjoyable and unpredictable. Whereas those people that just constantly drive around in Honda Beats and, you know, Honda Civics and such, this feels like a boring race to me personally. Good rate of speed through those corners there. That Camry, whatever they've done to that, I don't know. Standard version certainly isn't that quick. Very short circuit race this one, less than 50 seconds a lap at the moment. comfortably holding on to second, but really struggling to maintain any kind of reasonable distance to first. Certainly not as far behind as I was in the last race, but still well behind regardless. We did gain a little bit on that corner there. I'm happy with second, especially since it feels like, yeah, the car wasn't really able to stretch its legs because it's on such a short circuit. I think it's really meant for more medium circuits or sprint races that aren't necessarily all about top speed. And I know that's a very specific set of, you know, circuits or courses to be on, but you know that's the case with a lot of cars where they are really suited to only certain areas, certain circuits or certain point-to-point races. But still happy with second, gives us a healthy amount of points to start this free race championship off with. Certainly the only one that was even vaguely close to that Camry. Oh, I can appreciate the Abarth being used, as that is another car I have in B class, which is completely insane to drive. It constantly feels like it's trying to move around and like it's about to, you know, crash at any moment. So yeah, but that could just be the way that I've set it up by putting a V4 motorbike engine into it and expecting it to deal with, I think, 245 horsepower or something like that. So only 30 horsepower less than this, and yet it weighs about 1,000 pounds less as well. So yeah, it is quite mad. Alright, the Daikoku circuit, which is again quite a small one, although it looks a little bit longer than the Urakawa one. You can tell that Camry's got a lot of power in it, given how slow it is off the line. What the hell happened there? Was that the curb? Yeah. Those curbs are quite nasty, it seems. A bit of understeer there, unfortunately. It flies out the corners. Good tussle with his Sylvia here. Hello, Nissan. I suspect they'll probably have a bit more power than us. And undoubtedly only being rear-wheel drive will mean that they have probably got a bit more turning in the corners. very close. Well, that was a great race. Here's me talking nonsense about crashing. Well, it's not nonsense because obviously I have a great deal of experience with people that are, you know, cheaters and crashes and whatever else. But I'm glad I said that at the beginning, and then I've been surprised as by having the opposite, because that was a really fun race with the Sylvia there. So yeah, that was a really good race, and that car that they're driving is pretty potent in terms of straight line performance, and like I said, probably has better turning due to having rear wheel drive only by the looks of things. But we were really giving them a run for the money, and we did have a quicker lap than they did, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how quick a lap you got, it's about the position at the end of the race, and we were in third. But still, sort of a podium position. I know we're not up against a great deal of people on this in this lobby, but at least the racing has been fun so far, which is all that which matters more than, you know, having 12 people to go up against and then only ever being rammed into. Let's see what we can do on this sprint. We've got another person here with a Supra, 2 Toyotas, 2 Nissans and an Abarth, which doesn't seem to want to be going anywhere. Some help from gravity there, giving us a good rate of speed. We're going to be in a bit of a dead zone here. Camry is struggling this time around by the looks of things. He actually got that checkpoint. It looks like they were a mile off it. Gained a bit of ground there. Yeah, being a bit more speed orientated than the previous 2 circuit races that didn't go in my favour all that well. Kept up with the lead pack for the most part, but yeah, just struggled really to gain any major amounts of speed there. But yeah, there we go. That's a Nissan Pulsar. It's a pretty potent car, one that I do really enjoy driving. No, it's not perfect. No, it's not going to win you every race, but I do find it still to be an enjoyable one to drive. So yeah, get out there and try it already if you haven't. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.